Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alien's Joy. Today's episode, we're going to talk about that wonderful holiday stress. No more stress. Today, we're going to discuss a few things that you can do and that you can recognize and that you can address while you're feeling stressed around the holidays. So, welcome today to Alien's Joy. I am Alien Han. I am so happy to be here with you and share a few tools and few tips and a few tricks with you and things that you can do around the holidays because we all have a lot going on. And in whatever holiday you are celebrating in the winter, it's always a big deal, right? We might have family flying in. We might have people coming to visit, right? Even if they're not traveling, they might visit, friends might visit. We might have uh, parties where we have to bring something and we might share something with others. So there's a lot going on that we have to address. And there's a lot of travel and, of course, maybe family, kids. You have to go somewhere, they are coming to you. The house needs to be ready. All those things that we women think about around the holidays. And we have to address some of those things and try to find out if it really is stressing us out, if it gives us a lot of anxiety, if we can do something about that, and if there's some other things that we can do to make ourselves feel a little calmer, right? As a wellness and life coach, that's what I do. I help people feeling better overall, making different plans. If one thing is not working, then maybe the other thing will. And that's what I do. So I really help people try to address that anxiety and try to address that stress or sometimes the depression that we feel around the holidays. The worst thing is if we have to address the things that make us feel sad, if we're grieving, if we have experienced loss and pain, if we have experienced illness, if we have been grieving for a long time, or if this is the first holiday season that we have to get through without our loved ones. So that is really a difficult thing to overcome. We don't want to overcome, but we want to slowly move through that grieving process and move through the pain and the loss that we are feeling. And if we are taking that with us in a nicer way of addressing not just, oh, I miss somebody so much, but just also what can I do to make myself feel better? That was also in him or her uh, dream vision, right? If you have lost somebody but they want you to still move on and feel good, if you can address that feeling, then we can go from there. So there's a couple of things that we can do if we feel really sad. We want to definitely come to that part where we feel that when we have lost somebody, that they are still with us and that we're doing the things that they would have loved to see, but maybe bring some changes to it so that you can make it your own and so still kind of making changes moving forwards, but still take a lot of things with you that you want to keep as a tradition, right? Memory things. So that is the thing that we can do together. And there's another couple of things that I want to address with you. Always see this as a stressful season that you can completely be in control of because there's a lot of unexpected things already around us that are happening. But we can definitely be in control about a few things if we are planning ahead. And that's one of the most important things, right? So I always talk about meditation, exercise, taking that time for yourself. You still want to do that so that you can get some time out for yourself and starting, for instance, in the morning with quiet time, even if you have to get up really a little bit earlier for that, it helps tremendously. Having that moment for yourself, listening to music, reading your Bible, reading, um, praying, listening to nature, sitting outside, even if it's cold like it is here. If you can do that for yourself and just take that little time out, then that will help tremendously because you can just kind of plan the day ahead and see what you have done, what you can be in control of, and what can wait. That's also really important, right? We have to address the things that can wait because they're not always due on the same day, they're not always due today. So if we can address it for ourselves and make a little schedule, make a little plan, then we're already feeling more in control. That's a thing that you can do in the morning for yourself. If that is Maybe the time that you take for yourself that you're going to exercise or go for a big walk or feel that you can get out in nature. Do that and feel physically better because physically better, one of the things I always say, if you feel physically better, then you feel emotionally better, then you feel mentally more prepared, you feel stronger to attack the things that are coming at you. Like I say, life doesn't get any easier, but you get better at it if you do the things that are making you feel more in control. Right? So then nothing's really unexpected anymore. And that could be a big thing. That could be a wonderful thing. So, in the first place, if we're taking that time to meditate or that time for ourselves with the coffee after exercise, or we take some time to breathe, even to start 10 deep breaths a day, it's a great way to start your day. It's a great way to say, wow, I just want to be alone, but I have to focus on absolutely nothing. Kind of want to push those thoughts away, let them come through, but put them to the side. So I'm just going to take 10 deep, deliberate, really deep breaths. It is very healthy to do that. And that could be your little meditation time. But you want to focus and feel. When you feel, you can heal. So you have to focus and find it, what it is that you're feeling when that breath slowly moves through your body. So you can take a deep breath in and just feel your shoulders relax while you take it all the way down. Your shoulders are just kind of falling down and you're feeling super relaxed. And you take that deep belly breath. When you do so, you really feel the breath going towards your belly kind of blows up and deflates, right? And when you do that really slowly for yourself, about 10 times, then you're really in the moment. You really are in that moment. You really are paying attention to just your breath and feeling just your breath. And that is such an amazing thing to feel. Just that breath slowing down and relaxing your shoulders. We keep a lot of stress in our upper body. So you want to relax the shoulders. You want to sit up straight for a little bit. And just feel that breath flow through your body. So you inhale through your nose. That really gets the breath going down your spine towards your belly and towards your lower back area. And you can feel that. Follow that breath and let it flow. Find your breath and slowly feel that and heal from the inside out, right? It's very important to do that. Another thing that is really, really important for this anxiety and stress is that you just recognize it. Is it stress? Because I'm just busy, 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 busy. So many things to do, cooking, cleaning, receiving guests, or maybe going somewhere, planning, traveling, etc. Is it just stress that comes with the fact that we put a lot on ourselves in these days? So I am to blame, right? If I plan a lot of parties and I have company and I just receive a lot of people at the house, then it's all on me. I planned that, so I better take responsibility. But I have to recognize and identify those feelings. That's just the stress that I brought onto myself. So take a little time, see what I'm in control of and what I can plan. If it's beyond yourself, if it's just people getting stuck because they were on their way to you, the kids are coming home, but they're getting stuck in a snowstorm, which might happen in my case because they have to travel. And my son, for instance, has to travel and is stuck in a snowstorm. Can I control that? That is beyond my control. And now, if I get a little worried or how or what or if he gets home, that I recognize as a moment of anxiety, right? I'm just constantly worried about the what if. And I have to kind of acknowledge that and put that to the side and say that is beyond my control. I can't do much about it. So, what can I control and what can I do to recognize these feelings and be in that moment of? So, I have to accept some things, let it go. It's a hard thing to do, especially when it comes to people being stuck somewhere or not able to catch a flight or a bus or not able to come last minute. If that's the case, then I just have to identify what I feel and then go from there into a little mode of acceptance and try to see what I can control about that. And if I wanted to make myself feel better, in my case, for instance, waiting on company, then I just have to start doing things that I'm in control of. Piddling it around the house, cleaning up, being in control of cooking and cleaning, things that are already in place, things that are already organized, then I really have to take into account. There are just things, small things that I can do step by step to make myself feel better. And that's what I want to start with. It's very important to do that. Another thing that we might do, and that get a little bit out of hand around the holidays, and that we might recognize, is that we are going to take things personal when it comes to he said, she said, or the family wants to celebrate here and you want to celebrate there, and they don't want to be with you at your place or at your home. And so stepping out of tradition sometimes might be something that you might take personal. Um, Less nice things might be said because of the whole situation that got out of hand. And in the first place, family matters, but that's what family do, right? They love each other and they fight and they all want to get what they want. And the best thing to get through all that debate and debacle is that you don't take it personal. So if somebody kind of gets out of hand there a little bit and says some things that are not so nice, or that were not acceptable, or that you struggle with, try to put it aside and not take it personal. It was not maybe about you, but it was some changes that they had to go through, or some things that they wanted to do for themselves to go forward. And if you move with that, then maybe you allow them and have somebody else find a little bit more freedom in the things that they are doing. It was maybe the best for them. And so if you can kind of um, get through that feeling and know that it was for somebody else and not about you, then you might really move without any doubts a little bit easier through that holiday season. And also, in this case, right, another big thing to bring up, you might just resist change because you have always done the same thing. And I say that a lot, and especially I repeat this webinar around the holidays. I repeat these points around the holidays always to make you see that if you're taking a deep breath and you step away from it, you recognize point number 3, May, that it might be you and you don't like all these changes. But maybe it is for a reason that you have to step out of your comfort zone and go through those changes. There might be a new thing opening up there for you that you haven't seen yet. So sometimes we're kind of stuck in the things that we like to do, and we don't have a lot of patience for all the other offers that are being made to do things different, right? We go, nah, we just don't do that. Well, maybe if you did, you might feel a little different. So maybe just do something different. Do something outside your normal box, step outside that box, right? Outside your comfort zone. That might bring some new perspective. Sometimes, another good point is that we are really holding ourselves back because we're constantly procrastinating. And I know that so well. Everybody does. So we're doing that next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday. And we just don't get through that pile of work because we can't really see through it. It's overwhelming at the moment. And we didn't really break it down. Maybe we had an unbelievable pile of to-do list right in front of us. And we just can't see through it because we didn't break it down in a realistic way. It was not attainable. It was not really broken down to where you could do that in a certain time frame, or even with a little bit more time. You just didn't give yourself enough, and some things become overwhelming, and then you just can't see through it. You can't see the end. It's just all really, really a lot. And in the end, you go like, well, I'm just not going to do this at all. Next time, next year, next month, next Monday, right? So all these things that we're just pushing away later, huh, I wonder if they're going to get done later. We're not always so good at that, right? To do it later. So for that matter, well, we might have to tackle it right now and just get it out of the way. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed, basically. Recognize again, if you just put too much on yourself, if there's too much stress that you put on yourself, too much work, or if it's something that can wait, If you can't wait, do it because you don't want to procrastinate. Don't wait to procrastinate, right? Because there's definitely some things that can be done if you plan it a little bit. If you're totally overwhelmed because it wasn't realistic, then let it go. Let it go. If it doesn't get done, oh well, oh well. So if that's something that you do want to plan a little bit better, start far ahead, right? Maybe if you had planned in around this, around the holiday time before that in November, and you had a lot of things already planned out. A lot of people do that with shopping, for instance, all year, right? And by November, December, they can just sit down and relax and enjoy what they have already done and what they had prepared already. Sometimes something that might cause us stress, here's another point for you, is that we do want to make changes, we do want to things different, do things different. We do want to open up to new opportunity and new journeys and celebrate somewhere else, but we don't know what that is. So we're open to change, but we haven't really been able to put the finger on it. What do we want to do? Right? So a big thing is always that we do have to find out what it is that makes us feel happy, what it is that makes us feel comfortable. Because if you're going to do new things, but they were never your thing in the first place, if they don't make you happy, then why do it at all? We want to do things that make us happy, absolutely, all the time. And that is so, so, so very important, right? We just want to do the things that make us comfortable. So once again, we're looking at the fact, is it stress or are we constantly worried about tomorrow, that anxiety feeling, oh, what if, what if, what if? We want to acknowledge that and we want to see what it is we're thinking. And in order to do so, we got to take some time out for ourselves. We got to. We got to sit down and just reflect and say, well, I have to identify the source of the stress. What brings me to this situation? And if you can't change it, let's see what we can do, right? And some things you have to ask yourself. Am I dealing with this stress? Is it been going on for a long time? Maybe I have already recently experienced a lot of trauma or a setback. Then why put more things on yourself? Don't do it to yourself. If you have already recognized that you've gone through a long time of pain or stress, let's not make it any tougher. Make it easier on yourself, right? And how many things are happening outside my control? If a lot of things are happening outside your control, then we'll just have to accept that at the moment, we are not going to be able to do anything about it. And now, if it's struggling with symptoms like low mood and sadness and hopelessness and loss of interest, and it just keeps coming and you're sliding maybe a little bit in a disconnect situation where you're not with others, you're not talking, you're not communicating, you're not asking for help, then you might slide into a depression. And if you recognize that, ask for help. That's why I'm here. That's what I do. I help you just feel better about the things that were so out of control and that were just so painful and so traumatic. There is a way. There's always a way. And we just have to keep that faith and we have to keep that hope. And that is what the celebrations of the holiday is all about as well, right? Keeping the faith, keeping that hope, and knowing that things will get better, even if it was very, very difficult. Having that tremendous faith, knowing that at some point you can see that it was all meant to be. And at some point you understand, you might not in the moment, but that's why you have to reach out. If that is something that you can do, please do. Please reach out and find people that you can talk to. Reach out to somebody in your family, reach out to friends that are going through the same. And if you feel that you don't have any people around, then just reach out to people like myself, coaches, life coaches, trainers, to make people feel better physically, emotionally, and mentally, right? It's really important that you can just find out what it is. It is so important to identify the situation. It is so important to be able to see things and to know yourself a little bit better. That is really an important thing. So if you can do that, then you're just far and far ahead, right? It's really important, really important. So another thing that sometimes we do, and I'll bring this up at the last 2 points, is that we are ruminating. Are you ruminating? Is that means that you're constantly staying in that same thought pattern about the things you didn't like, about the things that were hurting. Maybe it's even a form of, self-pity that comes with it, in the sense of why me, why me, why me? And if you are not being able to get out of that thought again, then you need to ask for help, because you might get stuck. And focusing on all these unchangeable things, they're going to leave you more defeated, right? They're going to leave you more angry. They're going to leave you hopeless. They're going to leave you with a big feeling of, I don't care anymore. Yes, those are dangerous feelings. You do want to care. You do not want to sit in that situation where, nobody cares and I just don't care anymore. If you can find that thought and you know that you're doing that, pay attention to it and communicate it, because there are things that you can't control. And then we're going to work on bringing that control back instead of you feeling hopelessness. And we have to identify again the things that you can do to make you feel better. A lot of times when I have clients and patients, a lot of times these feelings of hopelessness follow up on times of grief and trauma and pain, loss. Absolutely. Because we feel sometimes guilty. We are not in their place, we're not in their situation, or we're not in, we feel guilty about the situation that we had to lose somebody or let go of somebody, and we love them so much, and why are we still around, right? But why would we have fun even? Why would we even, dare to celebrate holidays and do fun things and go enjoy things with family, food, and wonderful times? That's not cool. Not when you're grieving or in pain. It's not something that we're supposed to do. We're supposed to grieve for a long time and stay in that. And that is absolutely a belief that is not true. Grief is everybody's own, absolutely. And grief is different for everybody. And how long that lasts is also different for everybody. But are you caught in too much of it? Are you caught in too long of it? Is it still necessary? Is it healthy for you? Because the people that you lost, or the loved one that you lost, are still wanting the best for you. They still do. They're in a great place, and they still want the best for you. They want you to move on at some point. So although it's different for everybody and it's a hard thing to touch, there are things that we can see that are okay. We can have fun. We can have a good time. Absolutely. And there is something sometimes that we have to work through with somebody else to get to that feeling of, yeah, I can let go and I can really enjoy the grandkids. I can really enjoy the kids. Those things are important. So to wrap it up for today, let's find out again what we're feeling. Can we identify it? Is it ruminating? Are we stuck? Are we hopeless? Are we grieving? Are we in pain? Are we feeling guilty? Are we feeling mad? Are we insulted? Are we taking things personally? Or are we just not doing enough for ourselves? To take a minute away, to take a moment off, de-stress, get little steps ahead of the things that we can be in control of, and stop worrying about all that big stuff that we still have to do. Sometimes it's just expectations that we put on ourselves, expectations of others that have always seen you do the most amazing big tables, amazing dinners, amazing decoration. These expectations sometimes come from the outside, right? You're always the one to go to because you always did an amazing spread. If you don't feel like it this year, don't do it. Preserve yourself and be healthy because it's better for you overall. And like I always say, if we get too much here, ah, it will result somewhere else in our body, right? We get pain, we get stress, we get shoulders that are stuck, back pain, all that stuff. We'll talk about that a lot more. And I always talk about that, right? So anything up here will also get stuck in your body. So we don't want to get sick. We want to be healthy. I wish you, therefore, an amazing week, of course, a joyful week, because I'm all about helping you feel joyful and happy and at peace and in a good place. So let's share the joy. Say no when you have to. Say no. No, I'm not going. And as I just worked with a couple of patients this week and clients, I worked on saying no, but not necessarily having to explain yourself. How big is that? I can say, no, I'm sorry, I can't go to that party, but I don't have to apologize. Excuse me, apologize with an excuse. I don't have to give a reason. I don't own anybody that. And if they're asking why not, I might choose to say at this moment, I don't want to go over that. I don't want to share it at this moment, but I have my reasons. Bam, done. Or you can say, hey, I'll share that some other time. Right now, it's just not good. So if you're feeling all these feelings overwhelmed and you feel that you have to explain yourself, let me tell you, no, you don't. No, you don't. If you have your reasons and it's healthier for you, you do what's good for you. So with that, I'll leave you till next week, and I will see you next Saturday, and we'll celebrate some more, and we'll celebrate choices. We celebrate coming closer to ourselves. We celebrate being able to recognize our thoughts, being able to recognize our thought patterns. We will celebrate that. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining. Namaste. Be amazing, be awesome, and have a wonderful week. Love you. Happy celebrations.